Hello, Night City. We're here in Cyberpunk 2077. Be sure to like the video. Subscribing is great as well. We're here with the 1.6 update. So typically we wouldn't really be doing another review and or look at the game, but they did actually adjust some of the visual settings. So if you've been playing the game on the Series X and you've been wondering, wow, it looks a little bit sharper gameplay-wise, that's because they've actually been pushing things a little bit more. So this is courtesy of El Analista de Bits, who does great comparisons. So in the past, with the 1.5 update, and this is kind of honestly going to be a little bit of a disappointment, down the road, if that makes sense, this change. But for now, we get a benefit. So for the 1.5 update, which came before this, we had the two modes that were introduced that were next gen. So we've got a performance mode, which we're on right now, and we have a quality, like a ray traced mode. So the ray tracing mode, both modes were a dynamic 4K. I mean, they weren't hitting that, they were a lot lower, but it was dynamic 4K. Now, the ray tracing mode is like a locked 1440p 30 FPS. So, that is kind of like again, I would say both modes do actually now exhibit an increased resolution quality, like they're closer to their actual, I mean, this is actually 1440p now, right? And in the past it was dynamic and it didn't really, it didn't hit that mark, right? So now you get that like locked 1440p at 30 FPS, and it's a neat mode to have. But for me, again, the performance mode is kind of the way to go because you do get the 60 FPS. So when it comes to the performance mode, now we're getting 1800p as the target, so it doesn't go up to the full 4K, but we're actually getting like 1620p on average. So once again, this is actually an increase over what we had last time. This is slightly better, it is going to look sharper, it is going to look better, it is 60 FPS, and it seems to be quite smooth from what I've seen. You might every now and then get a bit of a dip here or there, but the biggest thing is now you actually get a higher resolution quality. Because, it was 1440p, I believe it was, last time around for the modes were kind of what they were hitting. So you're actually getting, literally up to 400 more p or something like that. So it's way better, like a huge visual increase. That being said, from a perspective of hey, the next gen Xbox years down the road, revisiting and that, we might have gotten a higher, you know what I mean? It gives us a better thing now, but I'm thinking long term, we're probably, you get what I'm saying though? You kind of understand what I'm getting across, is the fact that it's yeah, it's way better now, but down the road, the potential of what it could have been isn't going to, fully be realized. That being said, it's still a great looking game. I love Cyberpunk 2077, and I am kind of excited to be sitting here and talking about it again, because I think the game is a blast. I have thoroughly enjoyed, Cyberpunk. I think it's great. I think it's a fantastic RPG. You get tens of hours of actual story content. They've got an expansion on the way that's going to add more. I am genuinely excited to see where it heads. I'm a little disappointed that we really didn't get the full realization of this, which was supposed to be I believe 2 expansions. It's what they had said ahead of time. And, I don't think we're necessarily going to see this followed up on too much, because they're moving to Unreal Engine to work on future projects. But, I still think this is a great game. It's got a really good self-contained story where you make your V. I've played through it with the male and female perspective, because, I covered it at first on Stadia, and then I came and covered it on Series X. I've also given it a whirl on PS5. There's now cross-saves, too, which is kind of nice. Wow, this guy is tough. What is going on here? Breach protocols, okay. I don't have a 1C option. Let's hack this dude. I've actually never really hacked someone before. What hacking options? There's none? Okay. So anyways, I think it's a great time. I think it's got a great story. You make your own character. You make your own choices. You got this great character with Keanu Reeves who is sitting there kind of like with you in your brain talking to you. The side quests are really dynamic. There's lots of little different weird missions you can do in the city. It is a blast. Is this guy not killable? Sorry, I've never kind of witnessed this. And you can like mod your character with different like abilities. There's all this like free kind of DLC expansion content they added. I wonder, can I actually show that from, yeah, additional content. So new gigs that you can enjoy, new Edge Runner stuff, new Roach Race mini games, different vehicles you can buy, different apartments you can get. And it's just kind of a really... Okay, I'm just leaving because this guy literally doesn't seem to be taking damage. It's just a great game. Really, honestly. Like, it's got countless hours of action, excitement, intrigue. You can drive around, you can walk around. There's tons of activities for you to take part in. And I really do think, you know, it is a blast. There are so many surprises here. There's different ways you can handle scenarios. I think they've done, you know, a good job fixing this game and improving it. And you've been waiting to play it. I would say now is as good a time as ever to come in and get ready for this game, and you can prepare to go and, you know, play the DLC when it launches. Obviously, that's going to be something I'm going to cover because I'm really excited and I love what this game has to offer. So I think you too will have a blast, and I think you'll really thoroughly enjoy the action here. Because it is, as I said before, the Cyberpunk game of my dreams, and it sorrows me and it saddens me that I think a lot of the potential of what we could have gotten here is going to, you know, it's going to be cut off from what it could have been just because they've spent so much time having to work on fixing things and adding things and adjusting things that we're not necessarily seeing lots of extra stuff added. That being said, I'm more than happy with what we got. I think there's a lot of value here. I think there's a lot that can be enjoyed in this game. I think it's got some fun quirks to it. I think it'll surprise you, and it's something, honestly, you could play multiple playthroughs of, and it's just, like, it's a shooter RPG that just, like, keeps on kicking with crazy mayhem, wild weapons, environments that are, like, very reactive to the combat that you do within them, and then you can, like, hack things, and you can control stuff, and you can cause just, like, absolute mayhem for everyone that comes your way. The music is bumping, the action is excitement, you can do stuff with stealth, you can go in guns blazing, you can take your time, it's really, really just neat. And then there's like this whole extra layer here. Are you a enemy? I can't tell if she's like an enemy that's kind of like stuck here or whatnot. What's going on with you? Bounty warranted. I'm gonna come back and deal with you. I don't quite know what's going on with that character. So there's lots of stuff for you to loot, different weapons for you to gather, different missions, and again, it's a very, very large experience. Like, it is a vast world with so many activities and cars to drive and people to run into, and there's all this scripted scenery and content, and you know, now you can sleep on beds properly, and you know, sleep sideways and stuff. Like, honestly, there were a lot of bugs and whatnot, and I get the hesitancy of everything like that, but I think we just continue to get a better and better version. It really makes me wonder what the general thought of this one could have been if they would have gotten it in a state to the point that we're kind of at today. We actually have to go outside. There's a whole outdoor area here. It's actually pretty expansive. I think I'm supposed to connect to this thing. Oh, I'm installing malware. Just a little activity and whatnot. Yeah, no worry. Oh, and this game has great, like, romance sequences where you're able to, like, you know, really have some emotionally great scenes with a few different characters that you can choose between and interact with. And I think a lot of people you know, we'll kind of, if you haven't already appreciated those stories, and I have done actually an interview with Pan Am's voice actors, so you might find that interesting on the channel if you're a fan of this. Where am I? Kill Lucius. Where is Lucius? I feel like we were supposed to kill that person down below, and there's other people over there too. I'm gonna come down here. I'm gonna kill these people. Maybe she's like a netrunner. I'm a no survivors kind of person. There's lots of like side stories too in the world of Cyberpunk. That's what I'm saying. I really would love to see this universe grow. That's my biggest thing, and I kind of always worry, just again reception-wise and lingering thoughts on this one, that it won't ever get that potential to, because it's such a rich universe. Like, I love the concept of a cyberpunk society, if that makes sense. I find it so alluring and weird and crazy and over the top, and like anything can happen, anything can go on. And that to me is just really, really exciting. And I've put so many hours into this one too. Where is Lucius? I really, like, I've killed, I think, everyone here, have I not? Who is still alive? You're dead, you're all dead. Did I miss somebody? Maybe there's like something of like a network. I gotta, some kind of network thing? I don't know, maybe on the way out I gotta kill somebody. Yeah, I kind of see like a red dot somewhere. Nah, I guess we'll just leave. Oh, except maybe here. And with it being an RPG, there are skills, there are abilities that you improve, and different things for you to interact with and engage with in that regard. And there's so many like fine-tuned settings and crafting things. Wait, was this an alternate way that I could have just like straight up snuck in here? Because if that's the case, that's funny. You've got to be kidding me. That is really, actually, genuinely entertaining that there was a spot there that I could have taken just to literally, yeah. That is cool, right? Like, the little level variation. I don't even know if I've been showing off the game to the degree that I usually do, because I usually drive around and everything, but yeah, that was neat. Is there other areas here? Like, how many of these little spots can you, that's locked, okay. Something going on here? Are you who I'm looking for? That's just a civilian. Oh man, I'm sorry, but not really that sorry. I'm just gonna steal all of your food and stuff that you have, and then I'm just gonna dip here. I am so sorry about that. And enjoy the afterlife. Maybe they were in a brain dance and they didn't even feel it or something. I think most people feel their lives disappearing. I have no idea. Anyways, yeah. But I think, you know, a lot of people will probably have noticed the increased clarity level, like the visual fidelity just, again, seems so much better, especially with the higher frame rate. It's just, I keep thinking about that long term, I'm like, oh, it could look super sharp way down the road. But, you know, I do think they've improved the visual quality to a good degree. I'm quite happy with the fact that we are getting a better looking game right now. Because that is, you know, that is important, is that right now it looks better. I think long term, but I think most people would be like, yeah, you know, I want an experience that is higher quality right now. I don't want to have to wait, and that's totally fine. Nice. Level up. Whoa. Don't have time to level up right now. Let's go and let's do a gig here. Let's drive around into the main city so you can see a bit of that. And I will say, like, Turbo, or should we do the... I like the Quartz Bandit. So, poppin'-wise, that was really fixed last update. Where if you're driving, like originally when you were playing this game, and you were driving around in like the desert, you would see like tons of poppin' with cactuses and stuff like that. But that is honestly just like cleaned right up. You know, if you haven't seen that yet, that's, you know, looking great, runs fine. There's still like traffic things where the traffic kind of like appears and whatnot, but I'd say even that's handled a lot better. But it's just like it's such a beautiful, dynamic world that I think you honestly, like myself, can get lost in. Oh, come on. Now we're getting this thing stuck and phased through my vehicle. Well, that's a great showcase for this. But, you know what I mean? Like, oh, come on. What are the odds of this thing getting stuck in my vehicle? Like, really? Oh, there's another one stuck in there, too? Half the charm is the bug. But no, I think if you give it a try, you can really see that this game is really beautiful and neat. And oh, come on! Are you kidding me? Ah, Cyberpunk, Cyberpunk, Cyberpunk. We recall this car. No, it's got like the stuff stuck in it. I really do think you can see the beauty of this experience like I can when if you give it a whirl and you play it and you see what it has to offer, because it's such a good game. It really is just like, you know, it's filled with wonder and surprises, possessed cars. I mean, where else are you gonna experience something like this? Okay, that was a waste of health. Let's call in the, I don't know, let's do the turbo thing. I'm sorry, I love the bandit car too. Oh! So like I was saying, it's a world of excitement, crazy chaos, over-the-top moments, and I think you would appreciate the beauty of the world like I do if you jump in here and, you know, see what it has to offer. Go to the different shops, see the content. And I love that this is a mature game too. That's something I think this game doesn't get enough credit for, is the fact that it is a fully mature adult-focused title, in the sense that, like, you know, it's got all the special relations, all the violence, all the intensity that you would kind of hope for in a large-scale production. It's not, like, watered down or anything. They go over the top, they go crazy, they have fun jokes, they don't hold back on stuff, and it's just like this crazy, beautiful world that feels so well crafted and created, and it just like it genuinely is a treat to visit and go through. Like, just the sense of scale to it brings such a fun level of wonder to me, because like I said, I've always wanted a cyberpunk world like this. It's something I always desired, was to enjoy a crazy large-scale detailed open world that brought my cyberpunk fantasies to life. And you see that here when you drive around, when you visit different places, when you experience the open world, and you interact with the characters, you do the missions, you see things, you interact with those characters beyond that. And I hope down the road that people will be able to, you know, even now, I think, appreciate it more than, like, it definitely deserved more appreciation than it got, I think. And I know for those that were on the last gen consoles, it wasn't the best. But it is nice that you can say, you can look at it now, and you'd be like, this is a next gen version. This is kind of basically what it should have launched as, to be honest. It's good. It's cyberpunk action. It's visually quite impressive. I think it offers a lot that you can enjoy and you can play with and you can see. And I would suggest the performance mode, obviously, as you've been seeing the majority of this. You know, check out the ray tracing mode, see if you're into that kind of thing. But yeah, I think getting that 60 FPS and actually getting this higher resolution quality is kind of a good way to go about it. And it's so hard to fully showcase just what this game has to offer in the amount of time, because there's so many places you can visit. Like, we were doing just a mission, and then, you know, I'm off here driving around the city trying to show it off, and, you know, like, there's all these beautiful places with these, like, crazy advertisements, and there's, like, the outback area where it's all deserty, and then there's different characters, and there's different, you know, lots of different visual scenes and spaces you can come across as you go on your journey. And there's always something more to look at, always something more to get lost in and find and discover, and it's just like, it is kind of magical though, right? Like, seeing this beautiful Porsche vehicle driving along this, you know, some would say like dystopian type world. that's just filled with chaos and wonder and destruction. Cyberpunk.